Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to break down one of the most fundamental security tools out there, the Access Control List, or ACL. It's kind of like the invisible gatekeeper for your network, and we're about to see exactly how it ticks.
So, let's start with a basic question. How does your network, your router really, decide what data gets a VIP pass and what gets told to hit the road? Well, the secret is a surprisingly simple, but super powerful set of rules.
All right, to really get this, let's paint a picture. Forget about networks for a second. Instead, imagine your network is the hottest, most exclusive club in town. You've got the velvet rope, a long line of people trying to get in, and a very, very serious bouncer at the door.
Now that bouncer guarding the door, that's your network's router. And that clipboard in his hand, the one he's checking so carefully, that's the Access Control List. It is the official, non-negotiable guest list that decides who gets past that rope.
Okay, so this bouncer, he's not just making stuff up as he goes. He operates with total precision, following 3 unbreakable golden rules. And once you get these rules, you've pretty much cracked the core of how ACLs work.
First up is top-down processing. The bouncer starts at the top of the list and reads down. The very first rule that matches a person or a data packet is the only one that gets applied. That's it. Decision made, he moves on. Second, direction matters. The bouncer can check people as they're coming in or as they're going out. Checking on the way in, that's called inbound, and it stops threats before they ever set foot inside. Checking on the way out, or outbound, controls what your already trusted guests can do. And third, this is the big one, the unwritten rule.
This brings us to the implicit deny rule. Just think of it this way. At the very, very bottom of that guest list, there's an invisible line of ink that just says, deny everyone else. So if a data packet gets all the way to the end of the list and hasn't been explicitly told, yep, you're good, come on in, it's automatically blocked, no questions asked. You're either on the list or you're not getting in, period.
Now, as you can imagine, not all guest lists are the same, right? Some nights it's a simple VIP list, other nights it's a super detailed background check for a private event. Well, networks are the same, and they have 2 main types of ACLs.
On one hand, you've got the standard ACL. This is your basic VIP list. The bouncer asks just one question. Where are you coming from? It only looks at the source of the traffic. Simple. But then, you have the extended ACL. This is like a full-on background check. The bouncer gets really specific. Okay, who are you? Where are you going? And what exactly are you here to do? It checks the source, the destination, and the reason for the visit, like web browsing or email.
So what's the bottom line here? A simple list is quick, for sure, but that detailed background check you get with an extended ACL, that gives you incredibly precise, granular control. You can decide not just who gets in, but exactly what they're allowed to do and where they're allowed to go once they're inside. It's a total game changer for security.
One last thing on types. We can identify these lists in 2 ways. The old school way is a numbered ACL, where the list is just a number, like 101. But the much better modern way is a named ACL. Here, you give the list a descriptive name like web filter. And the advantage is just common sense, right? It's way easier to remember what web filter does than to guess what list number 101 was for 6 months from now.
Okay, enough theory. That all sounds good, but let's see how this actually works. We're going to look at a real rule from the bouncer's rulebook and break it down. So, let's say our goal tonight is super simple. We only want to let people into our club if they're here for web browsing. That's it. No email, no file transfers, just plain old web traffic. We have to give our bouncer one very specific instruction.
So let's decode this thing piece by piece. First, you see the word permit. Easy enough, right? That's the action. Let them in. Then comes TCP, which is just the lingo for standard web traffic. Next, you see that IP address. That defines the group they're with, the specific network they have to come from. After that, any tells the bouncer they can go to any destination inside our club. And finally, EQ80, that's the secret code for the exact door they have to use, port 80, the universal door for web traffic.
And when you put it all together, the whole line of code looks like this. See? Access list 101, permit TCP, and so on. Each part of that puzzle, the action, the reason, the group, the destination, the door, it all comes together to form one single powerful instruction for our bouncer. Once you know how to read the pieces, the whole thing makes perfect sense.
All right, let's bring it all home. We've covered a lot. So what are the absolute key takeaways you need to remember for securing your network's velvet rope? Just keep these 4 things in your head. 1. ACLs are your bouncers. They're your first line of defense. 2. Order is everything. The first rule that gets a match wins. 3. Remember that invisible rule. If you don't explicitly permit it, it's denied. Always. And 4. Whenever you can, use named extended ACLs. They give you the absolute best combination of clarity and control.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Your network's bouncer. He's on duty 24/7. He never sleeps, never takes a break, and he checks every single packet trying to get in or out. The real question is the guest list you've given him any good? Is it up to date? Because when it comes to keeping your network safe, a well-written guest list is absolutely everything.